Serie V Milano. It's not the Milano, it's a regular Serie V torpedo. I actually think I need to still take more off this junction here. So, how you all doing? Whoever's out there. I hope you're having a pleasant Sunday so far. Oh, good for you, Jack. What are you smoking? I'm smoking an Oliva Series V, my last Oliva that I've got at the moment. Rich dark flake, very nice. This is the Series V, regular Series V, not the Melanio. Last one of that one as well. My Melanios are finished. This is the small torpedo, and it's been in my humidor for a few years, and it's very tasty. Did your pipes arrive, Brad? Yeah, they have been taking longer. I've got quite a few packages out there in the ether at the moment. It's a bit worrying, but they're all. I always track them. So, did I send you the tracking information? I don't remember. Here in the UK, well, one I'm enjoying a lot at the moment is an aromatic, which is vanilla cream, which I'm diluting with Orly Golden Sliced at the moment. I kind of sort of flit in and out of the blends that are available here. Benson & Hedges Special Virginia, if you like a bit of Kentucky. That's a nice blend, which you can get over the counter in many supermarkets. You can get it in some Tesco's, Asda's, things like that. So Special Virginia, it's quite a savoury smoke, but it's nice. If you like Latakia, you can't go wrong with Jermaine's Special Latakia Flake. GQ Tobaccos has it in stock at the moment. I just bought 100 grams the other day. And I'm slowly filling up a large jar of it. Northwoods I've got a fairly good stock of now. And I'm building up stock on Special Latakia Flake. I'm building up stock on vanilla cream. Somebody in the States was kind enough to get me some. You can get it here as well, but you can only get it in 50-gram pouches, which is a waste of time for me. So I got a bunch of 100-gram tins. We'll be heading over at some point. Yeah, definitely, especially Virginia Forward blends or Latakia blends, they'll all be a lot better with age. But it's not necessarily so much to have like a huge amount of age on them. I've mentioned this many times on my videos. I generally build up annual stocks. So to give an example on Northwoods, I've got a jar from 2018, 2019, 2020. And each year I'll buy a reasonable amount of stock, maybe say in total, say a pound or 10 or 12 ounces. And I'll leave it. And then by the time I've finished the 2018 jar, it'll be 3 years down the line, and then I'll go to the 2019 jar, and that will be 2 or 3 years old. and that's the way I've done it. I've built it up. Obviously, when I first started doing it, I was smoking it and building up at the same time. So at the moment with Northwoods, I've got about 3 years of that tobacco, and I just now bought 10 ounces of it this year. So I've got 10 ounces is plenty for me for a year. I don't smoke a huge amount, and I'm starting to do that with special latakia flake. I'm doing that with vanilla cream. Um, Another one which is nice, but it's no longer available, is the Samuel Gowith Scottish Autumn Flake. That's a nice tobacco, but they've stopped doing it now. They've stopped that whole season series. And I think you can get 1 or 2 jars of the other ones, but I don't think there's any left of the Autumn Flake. I think GQ may have some Spring Flake, possibly. I managed to get the last 2 tins at my smoking shop a few weeks back. But it's okay. It's not an amazing sort of blow your mind kind of blend. Aromatics will not improve with age. I would not advise you to buy aromatics for aging. The opposite, in fact. It's okay if it's a Virginia heavy, like for instance Orly Golden Sliced. So the aromatics in there, well, it's actually a little bit of Virginia, a little bit of Perique, I mean. That will age well. Erin Moore Flake, because it's a flake, so it's made a lot of Virginia in there, so that will age okay. But what you have is with proper aromatics, is that the aromatics, because it's mostly artificial, what that tends to happen is that breaks down over time, and it actually can spoil. And it can spoil the Virginia or whatever the base tobacco is. So aromatics, just buy it when you're smoking it. I would say for short to medium term, so stock yourself up for maybe a year or two, maybe even up to 5 years. I mean, you can buy, I've got aromatic tins which are very old and they'll smoke just fine, but I find generally that the flavor is not as distinct, and sometimes it has a little bit of a bitterness to it. So for aromatics, just, short to medium term. Depends how much you smoke of it, so you have to gauge how much you'll need. And if you think the truth is, you never know what's around the corner, which companies could go bust. But with aromatics, it depends how fussy you are. If you only like a specific cherry blend, for instance, then getting another cherry blend just won't do it for you. So you have to make that call yourself. But it's not like it won't improve as much as a Virginia blend or a Latakia blend. Latakia blend will smooth out really nicely. It'll become very nice and mellow, and it's just a great smoke down the line. I've got some special Latakia flake aging, yeah. I've got from, I think, 2018, 19 and 20 as well of special Latakia flake. I've got some from 2016 as well, a couple of the small oblong tins, which I've kept. I bought those in 2016, but because they're becoming rarer now because you can't get those tins anymore, so I don't smoke them, I just keep them. But someday I probably will. It's taking shape. The lighting here is a bit all over the place, so it's throwing shadows over it. Special Latakia flake is a great blend to age. It's Virginia heavy. It's more Virginia forward than any of the Balkan blends, more so than any of the classics. It's really, It really depends on which bits of the special Latakia flake you get, because it's so mottled. It's so roughly mixed in. It's not like a mixture which is then made into a cake and cut into flakes. It's like Virginia, and they've got strands almost of Latakia, sort of dotted throughout the slab. So sometimes you can get a really almost just Virginia in a tin. The last batch I got was, the majority of it was just Virginia. Hey, Alfonso. Well, I guess it depends how much you smoke and how much you buy. If you buy more than you smoke, you'll be able to keep some. If you buy the same amount as you smoke, then you won't. I keep saying the same to myself about losing weight. If you burn more calories than you take in, you lose weight. If you don't, you don't. What types of tobacco do you like, Alfonso? Give us your top three. You too, Jack. And anybody else who's there. I would say your present top three, because our tastes change so often. Anybody want to share their top three at the moment? Don't be shy. At the moment, mine is Northwoods, vanilla cream. Number three, I'm not sure what number three is at the moment. I suppose number three would be just any of the other Virginias or Vapors, just whatever comes to hand. I've been smoking a few of the Christmas Cheers, that kind of thing, and just experimenting. But the two main ones are Captain Black, cool, Tone Provolone. Welcome aboard. Seven Seas. That's a McBaron, isn't it? I've not tried the Seven Seas. I've been meaning to try it. I read a write-up about them in Pipe and Tobacco magazine a while back, and they just sounded worth trying, but I haven't so far. Right, okay. The article that I read, John, said something along the lines of, it takes the concept of Captain Black and makes it appealing to the American market, whatever that means. It's going back some time ago, that article, but that's what it said. Got to put the sounder on for a second, so bear with me. It might make a bit of a noise. The Royal, which one is that? What's the flavor profile of the Royal? Your protector is terrible. I don't know what that means. Do you mean your collection? Oh, your connection. Is that what you mean, your connection? Preacher Man, how you doing? Well, this is part 2, which will be coming to an end soon. Getting past this basic sanding stage, and then in part 3, which will be a little bit later on, I'll be doing the stem, finishing off the stem, dark chocolate flavour. Ooh, that sounds intriguing. I'll be doing the stem and then doing final sanding and staining, hopefully. And the final stage is once I'm happy with the staining, having dried it for long enough, then I'll do the sanding and buffing, the final stage. And that'll be in a few hours' time, probably. So at the moment I'm up to 320 grit. I've gone 1 grit higher than usual in the last few pipes. So I usually grit up to sand up to 400 by hand, and then I'll buff it and then do a 600, and then I'll stain. And recently what I've been doing is taking up to 600, sometimes 800, and maybe even 1,000. I just like the finish that it gives. It's not really necessary, but it kind of almost, the difference is that when you go up to 400, and you sand it, and it's really nice and smooth and shiny, and you buff it with carnauba wax. Once that carnauba wax sort of wears out, which it does do after handling, then you kind of, the surface is fine, but if you sand it up to 600 or 800 or 1000, when that carnauba wax wears off, it's still really smooth because you've sanded it to that high grit. So I've been sanding it to a higher grit recently. I think it just makes for a nicer finish. Just a second. Hey Ratio, hey Moog. This is the tail end of part 2. And I'll be doing part 3 probably in an hour or two, something like that. This originally was going to have a rusticated shank. I'm not sure anymore because it's really nice and clean. I might just leave it smooth. Not sure. So that's where we're at the moment. It's got a little bit of a chin. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave that or not. Maybe I'll sand that out. It's more pronounced on that side than this side, I think. This side looks more balanced. That side, slightly more of a chin over there. So, I'm going to say goodbye for now. But if you're interested, I'll be back on later on to finish the pipe off. Thanks everybody. Catch you on the next one.